gingerbread trend is really popular on Pottery Barn's website, and also on Anthropology's site, they have these really fun wreaths. Some of them have these houses on them. So I wanted to put those two trends together. I've been waiting for Dollar Tree to have out their Christmas village houses so I could do this next DIY. So I finally found them. So what you're gonna need for this DIY are some fun Christmas villages. You're also going to need some of their small trees, and I recommend getting them in multiple sizes. Now I'm gonna be putting all of these on a wreath. So I just bought a basic wreath at Hobby Lobby. Now with my wreath, I'm going to spread out all the branches so it looks nice and really fluffy for when I start putting items on my wreath. With your houses and your trees, I'm gonna spray those with the color Warm Caramel. Now this is personal preference. I wanted mine to look like gingerbread, but you could do any color that you want. I did want to add some snow elements. So on my trees, as well as my wreath, I'm going to spray this product called Snow. That's just gonna give me that appearance of snow. Now, if you've watched any of my other DIY videos, you've probably seen me add puff paint to gingerbread items, and that's pretty much what I'm going to do here. So I'm gonna be using some white puff paint. I'm just gonna be bringing out the details in these smaller houses. So I'm gonna outline the roof areas, and I'm gonna outline some of the windows and add snow to it. I didn't completely do each of these houses, but I just wanted to add enough detail to each of them. Next, you're going to let this dry. Then you're gonna place your houses around your wreath. I found that 5 to 6 houses was probably the right number for this wreath, and I'm just gonna simply hot glue them onto my wreath. Next, I wanted to add in variation of tree sizes. So I had about 4 different sizes. So I started with my larger trees and hot glued those on, and then I filled it in with the smaller ones. I think this wreath would look so cute up for the holidays, and here's how it looks on my door. I feel like I see vintage bells on all sorts of high-end sites, and they can be really pricey. I'm gonna show you how to make some large vintage bells that you can recreate with Dollar Tree items. What you wanna pick up are plastic glasses. These ones are the perfect shape. So I bought 3 of them. I'm probably only gonna use 2, but I didn't know how they would turn out. So I'm gonna start by putting a hole in the bottom. So just get a drill. You wanna put a hole that's big enough so that your string that you're gonna be using will fit through the hole. Now I'm gonna spray them black. I feel like that's the key when you're doing any kind of vintage gold look. You wanna start with a black spray paint because it really gives that dark aged look. Once the black spray paint has dried, I'm gonna come in with gold Rub and Buff. Now there's multiple colors of gold Rub and Buff. I'll link to my gold Rub and Buff down in the description box. I buy it on Amazon and I use it all the time for so many different crafts. If you don't have it, it's definitely worth picking up. So figure out which gold you wanna use. I like to put on a glove because this can kind of get all over your hands whenever you're doing this. I'm also going to be using some bells that I picked up from Dollar Tree. Right now I'll add Rub and Buff to the bells as well. Put as little or as much as you like, and if you're not happy with it, you can always go back in and add more. Let that dry completely, then it's time to assemble your bells. So what I like to do is use some twine. So I'm gonna get a long piece of twine and I'm going to tie a knot at the top. I'm gonna tie the knot 3 times so that it's gonna hold in place when I put it through my bell. I'm gonna push the twine through my cup and I'll pull it to the bottom. I want the bells to kind of hang down about an inch lower than my bell. So I'll loop it through one of the pieces of twine and then I will tie it off, making sure that it's hanging where I want it to be hanging. And then I'll cut off the excess twine. Now, one of the problems I had was I didn't take into account how to hang it. Once you pull the hanger, the bell's gonna go up. So what I decided to do was just put some hot glue into the bottom of my cup, let that dry, and that's gonna hold it in place. You can use these to decorate mantles, swag pieces, wreaths. They're so cute, and I love the way it turned out. I love the look of candy cane, and I wanted to try to recreate that look with these tea lights. So you're just going to need a couple of packs of tea lights at Dollar Tree. You're also going to need some washi tape. I bought this on Amazon. I will link it for you down below. What you're gonna do is place the washi tape onto your candle. And then I went through and cut an angle because I want it to kind of be at an angle all the way around. And then after I cut it at an angle, I removed the tape and put it back on so that the top edge met the top of my tape. And then I cut off the excess at the bottom. And I did this again around on my candle 3 more times. I wanted 4 pieces of washi tape on each of my candles. And I repeated this for all the candles. These look so great sitting out with like 6 to 10. It makes such a cute statement. I also think these would be great sitting out on your holiday table. If you love the look of those big wrap presents, but you don't want to spend a lot of money, here's a way you can do it yourself. First, you're going to need a box, an Amazon box or something you have around your house. A square box is going to be best for this project. Tape the box completely shut. Then you're going to need some tinsel. Now the tinsel I'm using is from Hobby Lobby. It's a lot thicker than most tinsels. You can use Dollar Tree tinsel, but you're just going to need to get more of it. I'm gonna start at the base and hot glue my tinsel. I also went with red because I want it to be really bold, and red is definitely my color that I'm going for this year in my living room. I'm gonna continue to wrap the tinsel around, hot gluing it in place. Once I get it back to the start, I'm just going to overlap it. And then once I get to that top edge, I'm just gonna hot glue it to the corner. I'll continue to wrap it and hot glue on the top of the box. Next, you need some ribbon to finish this off. So I'm gonna be using a green velvet ribbon. You wanna make sure that you pick up a ribbon that has wire in it. It's gonna be a lot easier for forming your bow. Start with putting the green ribbon underneath the bottom of your present, and you'll wrap it around the top and hot glue it in place. Now let's create a bow for the top of our present. So to do that, take your green ribbon. You're gonna figure out how long you want it to be. And you can just do that by kind of placing it on top of the box to see, how big you want it to be. I usually try to make it about 2 inches in from the outside of my present. You're just gonna wrap it around as many loops as you want. I want 3 loops on each side, so that's what I did. To hold the middle in place, I'm just gonna fold it in half. Then I'm gonna put a zip tie in the middle to hold it in place. Now from here, you wanna cut off the excess of your zip tie. I'm also gonna take a little piece of green ribbon and wrap it around my zip tie just to cover it so you don't see it. I'm gonna fan out all of my loops on my bow until I like the way it looks. Once I'm happy with it, I'll just hot glue the bow on the top of my present, and here's how it looks. It makes such a big statement, and it's super cute. Hey guys, I'm Liz and you're watching my second DIY channel where I post daily DIY videos. You may be familiar with my main channel, Liz Fenwick DIY, but I'm glad that you found me over here on my second channel. Make sure that you're subscribed so you just get notified every day when I post our daily DIY video.